the world we live in feels safe until the moment you wake up and can't move. These are stories of sleep paralysis. Subscribe and hit the like button.
In the evening, the apartment looked as if someone had twisted its sound and air, as if a light silence stood in every room, similar to the silence before an accident. I walked from the stove to the table, from the table to the sink, without any particular reason. I rearranged spoons, checked the cupboard doors, touched the light switch once, twice, 3 times. The light was dull, not just yellow, but as if murky. Even the refrigerator hummed strangely, quietly, but low, as if it were operating underwater. Even stranger, during dinner, I felt several times that someone was standing behind me. Not moving, not breathing, just there. Every time I turn around, empty, I convinced myself, it's nothing. You're just exhausted. But my brain didn't even believe me. I sat in the armchair, wearily throwing my head back. My eyes closed for a second. 4:05, 4:10. In the doze, I heard, "Don't lie down there, it's too early." I jolted, inhaling sharply, as if choking. The darkness nearby seemed to move closer, even though the lamp was shining as usual. I decided, that's it. I'm going to sleep. This is nonsense. In the bedroom, the blanket was colder than it should have been. The pillow indented under my head, as if someone had already been lying on it today. My eyelids closed so fast that I didn't even have time to think. Sleep came instantly, the first layer, and unusually quickly, a second, sticky, heavier one followed, and then an even deeper layer. I felt my body sinking into emptiness slowly, evenly, like a stone in water without a sound. And there, in that depth, I heard a breath. Not mine, not human. Damp and empty, like the breath of something massive in the darkness beneath the floor. First, my fingers stopped moving, then my hands, then my chest lifted halfway, and the movement ceased. My legs became heavy like concrete blocks. I tried to inhale again and realized I couldn't. The world became cramped, as if the bed was shrinking inward against my chest. The darkness wasn't black, it was looking back. And then he spoke. "Don't break away." The voice wasn't in the air. It resonated under my skin. "You are already falling. You're almost there." I felt a slight movement near my feet, as if someone touched my soul with their fingertips. Then higher. Then my knee, lightly, but with the confidence of one who has done this before. "Don't wake up on top," he whispered. "It hurts you there. Here it doesn't." Fingers cold and wide settled on my shin, slowly rising to my thigh, like a hand circling the body, checking. The palm on my chest didn't appear immediately. First, a light touch, like a test. Then the pressure grew stronger. Just like that, quietly. Waking up doesn't suit you. I was about to scream, but the voice didn't rise even in my head. It squeezed my thoughts just as it squeezed my chest. "Do you like it?" The voice became softer, almost kind. "I am the one keeping you level. Don't be afraid. I am nearby." The palm shifted lower to my diaphragm. The pressure grew heavier. My breathing shallower. Do you know what is most tiring? A pause. Waking up. Doubts. Trembling. Attempts to get up. I just want to make it easier. His fingers spread apart, as if embracing my ribs. He compressed my rib cage, as if trying to fit its shape to his own. "Allow me to sleep for you, and you sleep for me." Deeper. The air became thick like glue. Consciousness began to slip away, not towards waking, but downward into the black depth. I heard him take a long, slow inhale. He was breathing for me. "You see," he said, satisfied. "You are already giving it up. A little, just a little. One more plunge, and I will finish." The darkness around me compressed, as if someone was pulling my consciousness to the bottom. "Let go," he whispered. "I will hold the air for you." I gathered the last fragment of myself, all the will that remained, even for a single breath. And I lunged, not with my body, with my mind. Sharply, desperately. I surfaced with a jerk, my neck cracking. I inhaled so deeply that I thought my ribs would break. I sat up in bed, gasping for air as if I had just emerged from a dark lake. The room was level. The nightlight's glow trembled as if startled. But on my chest, it wasn't just a bluish spot. There were two distinct imprints. A large, perfectly circular palm print, and below it, a second, smaller one, as if a hand had touched again before withdrawing. Both were cold. Both indented the skin so much that I could feel the pulse beneath my fingers. And just as I touched the upper imprint, a quiet whisper echoed in my head. Don't fall asleep far away. I'm still holding your door ajar. The evenings started mundanely, but inside, there was a strange feeling, as if the air in the apartment had become heavier. It wasn't pressing, it was just lying on me like a formless blanket. I was sitting at the table trying to finish a chapter of a book, but every sentence had a strange aftertaste. Thoughts slid away, attention blurred, letters wouldn't stay in a line. The desk lamp, my favorite warm one, was quiet but strange. It wasn't flickering due to a filament break or voltage spikes. It was pulsating, so gently that at first, I thought it was my heart reverberating in my eyes. Once, it seemed as though the lamp was listening to my breathing. I leaned closer. The light seemed to pull away, not abruptly, by a centimeter, as if it didn't want me to be too close. I touched the lampshade, cold. I turned off the lamp. I turned on the chandelier. The chandelier also trembled slightly, but as if mimicking the desk lamp's rhythm. It was wrong. I decided not to obsess over it. I washed my cup, walked down the hall, and went into the bedroom. I turned on the night light in the corner, yellow, warm, cozy. It always seemed safe. This evening, it was warmer. Too warm. I lay down. My shoulders released their tension for the first time all day, and the pillow adjusted to my head. I closed my eyes, and sleep consumed me very quickly. At first, I thought I had woken up, but at least one part of my body should have moved. None did. My eyes opened automatically, heavily, with the darkness slowly smearing across my pupils. And then I heard it, breathing. Not mine. It was light-based. It didn't sound, it shone. Each movement of it was a pulsation of the yellow circle of light on the wall. The night light was breathing. But this time, it wasn't just breathing. It was listening to my breath and correcting its own. Once the light compressed. Once it expanded. Twice. A pause. It stopped. The light froze for a moment. And then it adjusted to mine and spoke. The voice didn't come from the lampshade. Not from the room. It came through the light, like a shadow whispering inside a sunbeam. You are breathing slower today. I waited. I like it when you are slow. I wanted to exhale, but my body wouldn't obey. The light expanded so much that the corner of the room glowed with golden flame, and the shadow of the lamp lifted off the floor. Not the way a shadow should move. It flowed toward me like black wax. Don't tremble, the light whispered, compressing back into the night light. I will learn even better today. Show me how it is right. The light lifted from the blanket. Not a glare, a body of light. Elastic, warm, alive. It touched my ankle. I felt a heat as if someone had placed a scorching light bulb on my skin. But the heat pulsed. Once. My pulse was synchronizing. Do you feel it? The light asked. This is your rhythm, but it is incorrect. I will fix it. The light mass slowly crept upward to my knee, to my hip. I saw the warmth entering my body, like light pulsations passing beneath my skin. Reaching my chest, it grew wider, twice then 3 times the size. The light settled on me. A yellow mass covered my entire rib cage, warm but heavy, like a blanket made of sand. I couldn't inhale. The light inhaled for me. In. My chest rose painlessly but lifelessly. Out. The air came out colder than it went in. Just like that, the light whispered. You were doing it wrong. Too fast. too nervously. I want us to breathe the same way. The light descended onto my neck. The heat was so intense that I felt sweat beneath my hair. Your rhythm is wrong for me. I want your mechanism. Pause. Give your breath to me. These words sliced inside me like a cold blade. I try to break free in vain. The light expanded sharply, pressing on my ribs. I will breathe for you, and you can't fall asleep forever. Something hot entered my chest, not physically, as if a pacemaker had lodged in my heart. My heart stumbled. 1, 2, 1, then a skip. The light trembled. You are interfering. Don't wait. Let me take control. I want this body to work correctly. The light began to pull inward toward the center of my chest. I understood it wasn't just studying my breathing. It was trying to take control. I lunged with everything I had, with my entire mind, with all my fear, and then something clicked in my ribs. The paralysis cracked. I sat up abruptly. My chest was burning. My throat ached as if I had screamed. The nightlight was off, dark, formless. I touched my heart. It was beating irregularly. The warm spots on my chest pulsed for another second, two, and only then vanished. On the nightstand beneath the nightlight, I saw an imprint, light hot long, as if someone had pressed their fingers there from inside the lamp. And the most terrifying thing, the imprint was faintly pulsating. In the evening, I spread out old folders of medical documents on the table, which I had moved from place to place for years. I wasn't looking for anything specific. I just wanted to keep my hands busy. The silence was too thick, and I craved any noise, even the rustle of paper. I looked over familiar dates, checkups, vaccinations, analyses. And then, between the pages, I saw a sheet I didn't remember, yellowed as if older than the rest. On it, a short note in the corner. Not typed, not my handwriting. A surname, a first name, not mine. I brought the sheet closer to the lamp, saw a thin line of ink, and suddenly the line dissolved, as if it had never been there. Only a clean paper remained. Okay, watching too many horror movies, I thought. I laughed at myself. But as I placed the folder into the drawer, I thought I heard a faint rustle in the hallway. Not a human step, but a quiet shh-shh-shh-rrr, like fabric sliding across tiles. I stood listening. Silence. I closed the drawer, turned off the lamp, and got into bed. The blanket was heavy and cold, pleasant. I turned on my side. Neighbors next door were talking quietly. Someone was clattering dishes, a normal evening. But when I was almost asleep, I heard thud, 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 soft, muffled steps, in shoes that make no noise, in shoes worn in hospitals. I opened my eyes. Dark. The hallway was empty. Imagination, I told myself, and fell asleep. It didn't come gradually. Not like when the body wakes up, but the mind is still drowsy. It was a jerk, as if I was thrown upward from the depths. My eyes opened on their own, but my body remained stone. Paralysis. Silent, without warning. I took a shallow breath, and then I saw her. She stood by the bed, on my left side, very close. Tall, in a long white coat that fell to the floor. The coat was perfectly clean, sterile, like in an operating room. The sleeves were tucked into gloves. Blue rubber gloves tightly encased her fingers. But her face, in place of eyes, were two smooth, oval indentations covered with pale skin. So clean that it seemed as if there had never been eyes. It didn't look like she was blind. It looked like she had been made that way. The nurse tilted her head, as if examining me, though she had nothing to examine with. I couldn't scream or move. And then she spoke. The voice didn't come from her mouth, not from her throat, but from somewhere deeper, from the emptiness inside her skull. Slow, sterile, as if every word passed through a filter. You are not scheduled today. I flinched internally, but my body didn't move. She took a step. The soles of her shoes made a quiet, vibrating sound. PHRR. The sound only patients in intensive care hear when a nurse approaches their bed at night. She came right up to me. I could see the gloves straining slightly on her bony fingers. But, she said, leaning so close that her absent eyes nearly touched my face, I can admit you off schedule. Her gloved hand touched my cheek. Cold, dry cold, like a glove just taken out of a freezer. Her finger moved slowly, methodically, not like a gesture, like a medical examination. You have a missed mandatory checkup, she said evenly, professionally. The invasion of my boundary was so quiet that it became disgustingly natural. Her second hand rose toward my eye. A finger descended onto my eyelid. Softly, precisely, then harder, irritatingly, unmoved. She parted my eyelids, as if preparing to perform an ophthalmic analysis. You haven't opened what's inside for a long time. Her voice became closer, almost intimate. And I realized she wasn't talking about my pupil. She wanted to find someone in there, or take something out of there. Her finger pressed harder so that it hurt. I felt my eyelids stretching. Do not move. Her voice grew colder. It is important for the procedure. And then her second hand lowered onto my forehead. The pressure was even professional, like when a patient's head is being immobilized. You don't want me to make a mistake during the examination. Her fingers were pulling my eye open, as if to insert something inside. I felt her finger slide along my lower lid. The surface of the glove was rough with powder. I need to take a little light from your gaze, said her sightless sockets. I understood. She didn't want to look into my eye. She wanted to take away my ability to see. Literally, neatly, sterilely. Her fingers slipped between my eyelids. I felt the cold rubber on my mucous membrane. A tear rolled down, but I couldn't blink. Yes, good, very good, she murmured monotonously. Cooperate. She pressed her fingers harder, now with both hands. I felt that she was about to either A. invert my eyelid, B. extract my eye, C. place something inside, and none of the options were human. The pressure increased. Sparks appeared in my head. Almost. I see. What is inside? The voice became trembling, as if she were aroused. You have a very clean gaze, haven't had one like this in a long time. Her gloves squeezed my eyelids so hard that I felt a sharp, linear pain. She whispered one last time, now. I will only take one you can manage with the other. Something exploded inside me, as if my consciousness had breached a casing. The paralysis cracked. I lunged forward, gasped for air, fell back, knocking over the nightlight. The light fell, went out. Silence. The room was empty. Only the trembling in my chest and tears in my eyes. I turned on the lamp. On the pillow, near where her hand had touched, lay a thin, perfectly straight line of white powder, even sterile, marked like an incision line before surgery. And on my eyelid, a faint red imprint of a round finger in a sterile glove. The evening flowed slowly, sluggishly, without any sense of reality. I had the impression that my thoughts were merely skimming the surface of my consciousness, not even trying to dive deeper. I was looking for a box. I didn't know which one or why, just a feeling as if something was guiding me. I opened one cabinet, then another. I shifted old books, peered into drawers I hadn't touched for years. Nothing. Just as I was about to give up, the box stood right in the middle of a shelf. So straight, so precisely placed that I felt it had just appeared. Inside was small junk from the past, a cinema ticket, a broken keychain, a postcard, and in the middle of it, a small, round mirror. Dark, stagnant. I picked it up. The metal was cold, heavy, so cold that my fingers cramped. I looked into the reflection, my face. Tired, normal. I put the mirror in the nightstand, closed it, went to sleep. The room was quiet, but the silence wasn't natural. It was stretched tight like a wire. I even felt like the walls were listening to my footsteps. Just before I fell asleep, I heard a sound from the nightstand. Click, as if someone had opened the mirror. I woke up instantly, as if someone had pulled me out of sleep rather than me breaking free myself. My body was encased in lead. Paralysis absolute. My eyes opened on their own, and the darkness in the room was dense. Darker than it should have been. Even my phone wasn't giving off light, though I was sure it was charging. And then I saw her. A girl in black was sitting on the edge of my bed. Her legs were hanging down. Her back was straight. Her hair fell forward like a thick black curtain, completely obscuring her face. Her dress, long, smooth, black without a single crease. Like a shadow. In her hands, she held the mirror, open and positioned so that the reflection was aimed at me. I looked and didn't see myself. Something else was shifting in the mirror, blurred, pale, trembling, as if it was taking shape with every moment, then dissolving again. The girl sat motionless, but I felt her breathing, slow, heavy, barely audible. She didn't move her head. She didn't move her body. Only her voice slid through the darkness. You woke up too early. The voice was quiet, but not a whisper. It sounded as if it wasn't born in a mouth, but right inside the air itself. I couldn't answer. She tilted her head, slowly, slower than a living person could tilt their head. You weren't supposed to see me yet. Her hair shifted, revealing a part of her cheek, pale, cold, like marble. She lifted the mirror slightly higher. Look who you brought with you. The reflection suddenly became clear, and I saw my face there, but with empty eye sockets, a twisted mouth, and a dark slit behind it from which something was stirring. The girl said slowly, with emphasis, "That which lives in your reflection wants to leave your body, and I can take it first." She placed one cold hand on my chest, the touch like ice. I felt my heart beating at a different rhythm, as if someone else's palm was holding it. You don't understand, it only comes when you sleep, only when your reflection is defenseless. Today, it almost got out. She touched my cheek. "Let me take what is looking at me through you." The pressure on my chest grew stronger. She leaned closer. Her hair fell on my shoulder. Cold strands slid across my skin like thin threads of ice. She brought the mirror almost right up to me. "You need to open your eyes wider," she whispered. Her fingers touched my eyelid, slowly, gently, like a doctor performing an examination. "Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you if you don't interfere." She pulled my eyelids apart harder than I could have done myself, and touched my pupil with her finger. I felt it, a slight chill, then a viscous, sticky pressure. "I see it," the girl said with excitement. "It is sitting behind your eye, hiding in the shadow that follows you." Her voice became low. "Allow me to pull out." She pressed the mirror against my eye. I felt something inside me, not physically, but deeper, being pulled outward, as if a shadow that had grown onto me was now being torn away by force. She whispered, "A little more. I'm touching it now. It's struggling, but I'm stronger." The mirror was trembling. "Don't wrench away. Don't try to escape. It has already begun. It must come out." I couldn't breathe. She whispered right into my ear, "The one who is there wants to take your place. I won't allow it. I will take it to myself." Her voice became soft and thin, but with greed. "I love doing this. I love it when eyes resist." And the pressure became stronger. I felt something detach within my vision, as if a second shadow had been yanked from my eye. The darkness in the mirror swirled. She hissed, "There he is there. He is your dark double. I have him. I feel him. He wants to escape, but he is on my mind." She laughed, dull, empty, as if the emptiness beneath her hair was laughing, not her. I made a superhuman effort. A wrench. The paralysis cracked. I broke free. I sat up abruptly, tumbling onto my other side. The room was empty. The girl was gone. Gasping for breath, I looked at the nightstand. The mirror lay closed. No one was holding it. But On my eye, I felt a chill, as if someone had just touched it with a finger. And when I approached the mirror, I saw a new scratch on the lid, deep, straight, almost like a mark someone makes when checking off a completed task.